Hello, this is Dr. Dwan Milam-Reed with the Mind, Body, and Soul Experience, coming to you from Houston, Texas, from one of the guest bedrooms in my home. This is a second part in a series on sleep, where I share with you sleep hacks to help you to fall asleep and to stay asleep. I must mention that this video is for informational purposes only. If you're in need of additional support, please contact a licensed therapist in your area. I'm a therapist in the Houston, Texas area, and I specialize in individual, couple therapy, anxiety, depression, and EMDR therapy. So most of my tips I'm sharing with you on these sleep hacks and sleep tips come from a book called Insomnia 84 Sleep Hacks by Peter Cook, an excellent book. I highly recommend it. The first tip I have to share with you today is exercise. Exercise often. Exercise is like taking medication for sleep, but only better because it doesn't have the side effects of medication. Exercise daily if possible. And we don't want to exercise too close to bedtime because sometimes it can energize us and keep us from falling asleep. But do exercise, a very important tip for sleep. The next thing I want to mention, I talked about this in the last video, is to make sure that we're getting enough exposure to direct sunlight during the day so that our circadian rhythm can be on track for the evening, and also making sure that during the evening we're reducing the amount of light that we're exposed to, that we're not being exposed to electronics and blue light in our bedroom. We talked about that in the first video, and even our house, that we shut those things down, shut off the TV, shut off the radio, etc., the phone, at least an hour before bedtime. That's another tip that will really help us to get the sleep that we need. The next thing I want to share with you is to eliminate caffeine. You know, many of us when we're younger, we can eat cookies, chocolate chip cookies, and drink hot cocoa and have coffee, and it doesn't bother us. But when we tend to get older, in particular, our bodies become more sensitive to caffeine. Many people find that they have to shut off the caffeine by like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I happen to be one of those people, unfortunately. So if you discover that you're sensitive to caffeine, making sure that you don't have any caffeine past a certain time in the day, you know, at least by mid-morning, early afternoon. That's a really big tip. And for some people, they cannot have caffeine at all. They find that they have to eliminate caffeine. And one way to figure out if you're one of those people is to just experiment with it. Keep a sleep log and see how well you're sleeping on the days that you drink caffeine. The next thing I want to mention to you is to not nap. If you have trouble sleeping, don't take naps. Now, I know this is very hard not to do, especially when we get caught up in that vicious cycle of, I don't get enough sleep, I'm so tired, I can't make it through the day, I'm going to take a little cat nap. It's very difficult, but for some people, naps prevent them from sleeping. Some folks can have a power nap, like 15 minutes, and they feel energized. And researchers have found that a 15-20 minute power nap is like the same thing as taking a 2-hour nap. One of the reasons why is because we go directly into that REM sleep, that deep dream sleep. But if you're not able to nap, try to stay awake, stay on your feet to allow yourself to make it through the evening, and you may find that you sleep much better without taking naps. The next sleep hack I want to share with you is when you're laying in bed at night and you're having trouble sleeping, to just get up and get out of the bed and do something. Work on a project, wash dishes, watch a movie. And I know that's really hard to do because a lot of times when we're in bed and we can't sleep, we're just so exhausted, and the idea of getting up out of bed is very difficult to do. But it helps us to get up when we're not tired enough to go to sleep, and to do things that will get us more tired, and then to get back into bed. And also it works with that idea of sleep being a habit that we talked about in video 1. 40 to 45% of what we do is based upon habit. And we want to make sure that when we're in our beds only for sleep or for sex with our spouse. And so if we lay there, that's training our minds to allow us to lay in bed and to not go to sleep. But if we get up, then we're much more apt to associate our bed with actual sleep. The next thing to look at is changing our diets. Really watching our diets. When our diets are high in carbs and sugar, it can make sleep very difficult. We're increasing the inflammation in our bodies. We want to decrease inflammation by being on a plant-based diet. Also, adding foods to your diet that are rich in magnesium and tryptophan are really, really important, like turkey and almonds and bananas. Having a banana before you go to bed can be a really good idea to help you to feel more tired. If you notice, Thanksgiving time, when we're eating all that turkey and the family's eating turkey, we tend to feel really sleepy, and people go to sleep after Thanksgiving dinner. And that's usually because of that tryptophan in that turkey, which makes us feel sleepy. So why not have those foods before you go to bed at night? Also, to be aware of foods that are stimulants or spices that are stimulants and that wake us up. Ginger is one of those. Ginger can be the same as caffeine, have the same types of effects as caffeine. It makes us more alert and more active, and it's a stimulant. So making sure that you don't eat foods that have ginger or cloves or allspice, that type of thing can really help you to sleep better. Another important tip is to limit our intake of fluids 2 hours before we go to bed. Trying not to drink anything 2 hours before we go to bed. But I want to say though, there is an exception. If you find that herbal teas help to relax you, herbal teas that have chamomile in them or valerian root or whatever types of herbs that are relaxing, by all means drink some tea. But if you're a person that gets up at night to go to the bathroom a lot, make sure that you reduce that amount of fluid intake before you go to bed at night. The next tips that I want to share with you revolve around a nighttime routine. And that goes back to the idea of habits again. 40 to 45% of the things that we do are based upon habits. So when we have that nighttime routine, that tells our brains, hey, it's time to go to bed, it's time to wind down, and to really develop, to put together a nighttime routine that you find pleasurable and relaxing, such as a warm, hot bath, or getting in your favorite chair and reading a book, meditation, yoga, deep breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, visualization, whatever helps you to feel nice and cozy and warm and relaxed at night. I encourage you to do those things. I would love to hear from you all as to the sleep hacks, the sleep tips that you have used that have worked really well for you. Please share them below so that others can benefit from your experience and things that you've tried that have worked well for you. Any comments that you'd like to make, I'd love to hear from you below in the box below. If you like this video, if you like this series of videos, please be sure to share them and to comment and to subscribe to my channel. I would love to hear more from you. Thank you, and sleep well.